Your dog is sitting by the food bowl right now, tail thumping against the floor, completely unaware that something in your kitchen cabinet could change how many years you get with him. Not a supplement, not a prescription, one spoon. One ingredient most owners walk past every single day without a second thought, sitting quietly on a shelf while they search for something more complicated. Here's the part that sounds impossible. It is not about adding something exotic or expensive. It is about correcting something small that has been quietly working against your dog's body since the day you brought him home. Something so ordinary that most owners never think to question it, let alone connect it to how long their dog will live. I am Dr. Ethan Kyle, and in 15 years of small animal practice, I have watched the same pattern play out again and again. Dogs eating good food, getting their walks, seeming perfectly healthy on the surface, while something slow and invisible chips away at their years underneath, completely unnoticed, until a checkup reveals it. Just last month, a client brought in her 10-year-old lab for a routine visit, absolutely certain nothing was wrong, and we found early signs of the exact kind of internal wear I am about to explain to you today. By the end of this video, you will know exactly what that one spoon is, why it actually works at a biological level, and how to use it the right way so you genuinely add healthy years, not just add another bowl of something to your dog's already crowded routine. Today we are covering 5 things. What is quietly aging your dog from the inside without any obvious outward symptoms? The one spoon and the real science behind why it works. A second overlooked factor most owners never connect to aging at all. A third piece involving movement and comfort that most videos skip entirely. The hidden twist most owners never hear about, the one that changes how you should actually use everything I am about to share. And finally, the simple rule for using all of it safely together, starting as soon as tonight. Let's start with what is actually happening inside your dog's body as they age. But what if aging in dogs is not really about time passing at all? What if it is about rust? Think of your dog's cells like the metal parts of an old car, left out in the rain, year after year, slowly changing even when nothing dramatic seems to happen on the outside. Every single day, normal body processes create tiny reactive molecules called free radicals. In small amounts, that is completely fine. It is just part of being alive and breathing and moving through the world. But over years, those free radicals can build up faster than your dog's body is able to clean them out, and they slowly damage cells the same way rust eats through metal, bit by bit, mostly out of sight until the damage adds up. Veterinary research suggests this kind of oxidative buildup is linked to slower organ function, stiffer joints, and a duller coat as dogs move into their senior years. It usually starts showing up around age 7 or 8 in medium and large breeds, sometimes earlier in giant breeds like Great Danes or Mastiffs, whose bodies simply have more cellular turnover happening at once. The home fix many holistic vets recommend starts with foods naturally high in antioxidants. And this is where our first hero ingredient comes in. Pure pumpkin. Not pumpkin pie filling. Never that. Just plain canned pumpkin or fresh steamed pumpkin with nothing added to it. It is packed with beta-carotene, which acts almost like a sponge for those free radicals, soaking them up before they get the chance to do more damage to healthy cells. One safety note here. If your dog has diabetes, or is on a strict prescription diet, check with your vet before adding new foods, even ones as gentle as pumpkin, since fiber and natural sugar content can still shift blood sugar in sensitive dogs. This is also a good moment to mention that if your dog ever collapses, has a seizure, has trouble breathing, or you suspect they got into something poisonous, do not try any home remedy of any kind. Call your vet or an emergency poison control line immediately. Every single minute matters in situations like those. Now, what if I told you the second thing? Quietly aging your dog is not something happening to them, but something they are simply not getting enough of. What if it is not about what he is eating, but about what is missing from his gut entirely? Your dog's gut is home to trillions of bacteria, and remarkably, about 70% of his immune system actually lives right there in the gut lining, tucked away where most owners never think to look. As dogs age, that bacterial balance can shift, sometimes gradually over years, sometimes faster than expected after an illness or a change in diet, and a less balanced gut has been associated with more inflammation throughout the entire body. Inflammation is like a low fire that never quite goes out. It does not look dramatic day to day. There is no obvious flame or smoke, but over months and years, it can quietly wear down joints, skin, and energy levels without you ever connecting the dots back to something as simple as gut health. This is where our second hero ingredient earns its place. Plain unsweetened pumpkin again, but this time for its fiber content, which feeds the good bacteria in the gut almost like fertilizer feeds a garden, encouraging the helpful microbes to multiply and crowd out the less helpful ones. A simple home step is adding a spoonful to their regular meal, starting small and watching closely how your dog responds over the first few days before deciding whether to continue. Here is a moment that might genuinely surprise you. Many owners assume more fiber is automatically better, so they pile on extra vegetables, thinking they are doing something wonderful for their dog. But too much fiber too quickly can actually cause loose stools and real discomfort, undoing the very benefit you were going for in the first place and leaving both of you frustrated. Balance, not excess, is always the goal here, and slower is almost always safer. Let's shift to something lighter for a second, because I know all of this can start to feel a little heavy the deeper we go. If your dog is anything like most of my patients, the moment you open a can of anything in the kitchen, he appears out of nowhere like he has a sixth sense, specifically tuned to the sound of a can opener. That instinct, believe it or not, is ancient survival wiring passed down for thousands of years, not just food obsession or bad manners. It is honestly kind of charming once you think about it that way, your dog's inner wolf showing up faithfully for a spoonful of pumpkin. Now, what if the biggest threat to your dog's long-term health is not a disease at all, but something as ordinary and unglamorous as their joints slowly stiffening over time, one small movement at a time? Cartilage, the cushion between bones, does not regenerate easily in dogs, especially as they get older and their bodies slow down their natural repair processes. Once it starts wearing down, movement becomes harder and more uncomfortable, which often leads to less activity, which then leads to gradual weight gain, which then puts even more pressure on those same already struggling joints. It becomes a slow, quiet cycle that feeds itself, and most owners do not notice it happening until their dog is visibly slower on walks or hesitant on stairs they used to bound up without a thought. Our third hero ingredient supports this directly: fish oil. Specifically the omega-3 fatty acids inside it. Veterinary research suggests omega-3s can help support joint comfort and reduce inflammation over time when used consistently as part of a daily routine. A small amount added to food, following the dosage guidance on the product label or from your own vet, is the practical action step here. Never exceed the recommended dosage, since too much fish oil can affect blood clotting and cause digestive upset. More is not automatically better with this one either, and that is worth remembering. Here is a fourth piece that ties directly back to the very first thing we talked about, something about sleep that most owners completely overlook when they think about aging. Deep, uninterrupted sleep is actually when your dog's body does most of its cellular repair work, clearing out waste products from the brain and muscles that built up during the day's activity. As dogs age, sleep quality can quietly decline. Joint discomfort makes it harder to get comfortable and settle down fully, and lighter, more broken sleep means less repair time each and every night. Making sure your dog has a supportive, well-cushioned bed suited to their size and joints, and keeping a consistent, calm bedtime routine gives that nightly repair process the best possible chance to actually happen the way it should. A concrete action step here costs almost nothing. If your dog's current bed is flat, thin, or older than a couple of years, it has likely lost most of its supportive cushioning already. A simple orthopedic-style bed, even a modest one, can make a real difference in how deeply your dog is able to rest through the night. Here is where I want to slow down, because this next part is the piece almost nobody talks about, and it is the real reason so many owners do everything right on paper and still do not see the results they were expecting after weeks of effort. Most advice stops at add supportive foods and call it done. But here is the twist. Timing and consistency matter almost as much as the ingredient itself, maybe even more than the ingredient itself. A lot of owners add pumpkin or fish oil for a week, see no dramatic change, and quietly stop, assuming it simply does not work for their particular dog. But antioxidant and gut support benefits build slowly, typically over 8 to 12 weeks of consistent daily use, not days or even a couple of weeks of trying. Stopping and starting repeatedly can actually be worse than never starting at all, because the gut bacteria never gets a stable environment long enough to properly establish itself and do its job. Even stranger, Some owners accidentally undo their own progress by rotating too many new ingredients in at once, all in the name of doing more good faster for their dog. Adding pumpkin, fish oil, turmeric, and a brand new probiotic all in the same week does not multiply the benefits the way you would hope it might. Instead, it makes it almost impossible to know what is actually helping, what might be causing loose stools, and what your dog could be quietly sensitive to underneath it all. Sometimes doing less, more consistently, produces far better results over months than doing everything at once and hoping something sticks. So how do you actually put all of this into practice without overwhelming your dog's system or your own daily routine in the process? This is exactly where restraint becomes your best tool, not your enemy standing in the way of progress. Start with just one thing. If your dog is generally healthy, plain pumpkin is the gentlest starting point. About a teaspoon for small dogs and up to a tablespoon for large dogs, mixed into their morning meal each day. Give that 2 to 3 full weeks before adding anything else, resisting the very natural urge to speed things up because you want to see results faster. If it agrees with him, and most dogs handle it beautifully without any issue, that becomes your steady foundation to build on. Only after that foundation is steady should you consider layering in fish oil, again starting at the low end of the dosage range and watching closely for the first week or two. Think of it like building a house. You do not add the roof before the foundation has fully set and cured. Give each addition real time to show you clearly how your dog's body responds before introducing the next layer on top of it. Once both of those are steady, that is when a supportive bed upgrade or a consistent bedtime routine can be layered in as the final piece, rounding out the internal and external sides of the same goal. This rotation approach protects two things at once: your dog's digestive system and your own ability to actually see clearly what is working and what is not. It also protects your wallet, because you are not buying 5 different products all at once and hoping something sticks by accident. I know watching your dog get older is not easy. It brings up feelings most of us would rather not sit with for very long. The fact that you are here, spoon in hand, cabinet open, looking for something real instead of a miracle promise wrapped in flashy packaging and big claims, tells me you are exactly the kind of pet parent who makes a genuine difference in your dog's quality of life every single day. That effort matters more than any single ingredient on this entire list ever could on its own. Here is my question for you in the comments. What is one small thing you have already started doing for your dog's health as they get older? Even something as simple as a slower walk, a softer bed, or a small food swap you tried recently. I would genuinely love to know, and I read every single comment that comes in under these videos. If today's video helped you see your dog's aging in a new way, subscribing means you will not miss the next one, where we go deeper into the specific warning signs that mean it is time for a vet visit versus time for patience and quiet observation at home. Until next time, give that good dog of yours an extra scratch behind the ears tonight. He has earned it, and honestly, so have you.